boxing on Channel 5. Defending his name, his legacy, Benn-Eubank. Battling his way up the super lightweight rankings. Can he remain undefeated? Big Fight Live, Eubank versus Usyk, Friday at 10 on Channel 5.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Bit of a rocky road here because we're in the back of a car. I'm joined by a very alert-looking Tony Bellew. All right, mate?
Hi, Cougs. Okay, mate?
All good. I'm going to try and not get this mic too close to your mouth.
Yeah, keep that away from my mouth. Nothing goes into my mouth, mate, besides food. And that's it.
Fair enough. Are you okay, first of all?
I'm surviving, mate. I can't complain. Life could be worse, couldn't it? But yeah, man, it is what it is. Ready to go to work and looking forward to getting to this weigh-in to see the champ address the media and the public once again. Can't wait.
In your opinion, how much pressure is on Anthony Joshua, not just to win tomorrow, but to look good?
There'll be no more pressure put on him by the media than the amount of pressure he'll put on himself. He'll just want to put his hard work to use. He's worked extremely hard. He's been out in Dallas under the tutelage of Derek James, his new coach, and he'll want to show the fruits of his labour. He'll want to show the improvements he's made. He'll want to show a different side to him on Saturday night, and I'm hoping Jermaine Franklin is still around after a couple of rounds for him to show them improvements. But let's be totally honest, if he goes in there and smokes him in 2 rounds, then you don't get paid for overtime in the heavyweight division. It is what it is.
Quite a few people have picked up on comments that Joshua has made this week when asked if he isn't to win this fight, whether he'd retire. He's come out and said that he would. When I asked him why he said that, he said because that's the answer that they're looking for. What do you think about that?
Once again, that's what he does. He gives people the answers that they want. In no other sport, in any other combat sport, is it over when you've had a loss. I mean, why does this constantly get thrown at you? I don't know. It's just you need to learn to appreciate fighters and appreciate what they generate and what they can do. You're telling me if some unbeknown reason Anthony Joshua loses tomorrow, you're still telling me that you don't want to see Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury? Really? Regardless of what happens tomorrow. So people have got very short memories. People have got crazy thoughts in their mind. But listen, when it comes to Joshua, I just want to please and appease everyone. But you can't. It's impossible. And you know, he's learning that the hard way. You know, the man who is everyone's cup of tea is basically a mug. You've got to just stand up for what you believe in and stick to what's true to you. And I think he's done that throughout his career. I just want to see him go in there tomorrow and do what he does best, which is knock people out.
Once again, Eddie Hearn has made comments saying that if Joshua comes through Saturday night, he wants to sit around the table with Frank Warren, George Warren, etc., to try and get this fight done next for Anthony Joshua, which is what he said before, but he said it again this week.
Of course Eddie does, because that's the biggest fight possible in the country, by a considerable amount. So of course Eddie wants to get it done. Eddie's a promoter, and he promotes big fights, and as I've just said there is no bigger fight than AJ v Fury in British boxing, and probably potentially in world boxing. It's just the huge and size and magnitude of the event. It's funny, isn't it, that he offered AJ 60-40 and offered Alexander Usyk 70-30. It's absolutely insane. But you know, one brings 3 belts, but now one brings absolutely nothing. But I get it, one brings a huge commercial and market value to the table. But listen, it doesn't matter what my opinion is. It doesn't matter what anyone's opinion is, really. All that matters is tomorrow night when Josh gets in the ring. Let's see what happens. I think you'll see a man who's taken his activity and his work rate to another level. I think that's what you'll see. I think you'll see an output that you haven't seen before.
Just picking this back up, what have you made of the collapse of the Fury and Usyk fight, which was going back and forth for quite some time? a lot of social media negotiations.
Once again, that never helps, but it's good to see people venting the frustrations of why. Basically, the boys bent over backwards and agreed to every demand that's been asked of them, Cougs. So I don't see what the hold-up is. For someone who's just a middleweight who you're going to spark, why does there even need to be a rematch clause? For such a middleweight who's absolutely terrible, and you're going to take all the belts and become the first unified undisputed heavyweight champion since the great Lennox Lewis, why do you need to have... Why are you even bothered? Just, do you really want it? Is it all about the money, or is it all about becoming the actual best and cementing your legacy and era? Because if what I'm being told is all correct, now he's obviously financially secure, he's obviously a very rich man. What is the goal? Is the goal to do something that no one's done since Lennox Lewis? I don't know. Is it the goal to prove you are the best? I don't know, but it obviously is for Alexander Usyk, because he ain't interested in money. He took an absolute joke of a cut when it comes to the 70-30. A man's got 3 out of 4 belts in the division. He's travelled the whole globe and beat everyone on their patch. And yet he agrees to a shorter end of the stick, and he agrees to your date, he agrees to your venue, and still this does not go on. I don't know. And people will say, oh, it's Bellew again, he's biased, and he's the matchroom boy, and he's AJ's fanboy and all that. I don't really give a shit. I'd tell you the exact same to anyone's face or whatever have you. I'm not really asked. So, it is what it is. From the outside looking in, it's not a good look for boxing. When a man bends and takes what you're throwing him, and he actually accepts it, what else conclusions can be made, Cougs? And this, bear in mind, this is a man who goes to everybody's backyard. This is a guy who's always been there and is the best. You know, the pound for pound #1 fighter in the world right now.
So we're in a situation now where that...
Bearing in mind also, I do think right now Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in the world, by the way. I'm not saying he's not, because he is. But at the same time, you're not carrying yourself as the best heavyweight in the world. And that's what must be stressed upon you. You are the best heavyweight in the world. You are the premier fighter in the heavyweight division in the world. But you are not carrying yourself and doing the things that the best heavyweight in the world should be doing. You should have all 4 of them belts if you are the best heavyweight in the world. There should be no messing around with that. And let me just tell you from personal experience, Igor Klimas, Alexander Usyk, Alex Krasnik, or Krasik, whatever how you pronounce his name, they are the easiest people in the world to deal with. I know, because I've dealt with them. So, and I could have been really difficult, and they would have bent to the demand, but I didn't. Once he called my name, I wanted to fight, and he had all the belts, and we just made the fight. It was really simple. AJ had a mandatory defence in Alexander Usyk. He just made the fight, not once but twice. Why is it so hard for everyone to make a fight with Tyson Fury?
What does each fighter do now, as that fight looks... Well, it's definitely unlikely not happening for April 29th, whether it happens.
2019 going to go ahead?
No, we're assuming that nothing's happening on April 29th now, but I'm just...
Arena, what a waste of a date. And a beautiful arena. I don't know, Cougs, that's not really my business. I'm not really interested in what they do. I don't pay much attention, as you know, by the social media stuff anymore. I'll switch on to something when people tell me. I do my job, I'm good at my job. I know the fighters, I study the boxing, the cards that we're on, the fights that we know. And that's what I do, to be honest. I don't know what they do. As when it comes to Alexander Usyk, I'm not going to lie, mate, he has to tread very carefully in this division. Because as I've said before, and I'll say it again, the only thing that beats that boy is size. And there's some big dudes in the heavyweight division. You know, I've heard the story about the Wilder fight being closer. That's a dangerous fight, mate. Don't get me wrong, he will make an absolute fool of Deontay Wilder for about 8-9 rounds. But that boy just needs one. Especially when you're a cruiserweight, he needs one. Don't get me wrong. I speak from experience and say it's hard to find that one against him, but crazy shit happens and you wouldn't write him off.
Tony, what do you think about the prospect of Daniel Dubois facing Alexander Usyk?
Not a chance. He schools Dubois. He schools Dubois.
So if you're Daniel Dubois, that opportunity arises, which it could do. Do you not take that opportunity if you're Dubois?
Of course you do, and you take that opportunity to use 3 belts, but the kid is still learning the game. You see, he's raw and he's wet behind the ears. I mean, what was that guy's name? The guy we fought last time. I did see that. What was his name? Where he started? Where Dubois was? That was he down, or was he was really hurt, or he was down? I think he was down in the first round. Kevin Lerena, and he fought. I watched that. I did see it, and if Kevin Lerena would have just shown a bit of arse, he'd got rid of him. He really would have. And there's no question in that, I'm sorry to tell you. They're just a cold, hard, brutal facts. But Kevin Lerena just fell apart. I have no idea why, because he went out. I'm sure it was the first round where he had him all over the place, or the second round. But then the next round he came out and basically just stood there and looked at him for 3 minutes. I've never seen it before. I was amazed. I could not believe what I was seeing. Alexander Usyk isn't this big devastating puncher, but I'll tell you something, mate, he will pop you and make you think twice. He's extremely accurate. He's got the best feet you will ever see, and his angles and distribution is just unbelievable. He's a class act, mate, he really is. And he also needs to clean up, you fuckface, of you Bellew fights about this. I've had this video thrown to me how many times Bellew fighters fight twice a year, and that's it. But just to inform you, smart ass, did you look?
That was ages ago.
I don't care. I've had so much stick because I very look and touch me. But when I did, I've had this video thrown at me loads of times, and Darren Till, the fucking asshole, was sending me saying, "Tony's done you here," and I was laughing. So, if you look back at my career, I fight for the Cruiserweight Championship of the World on May the 29th, 2016. I then defend it in October. I then fight David Hay in the March. Can no one do the maths there? That's a man trying to have 4 fights a year, not 2, in a calendar year. David gets injured again, and then it's off. But that's just to let you know. So do the match, you smart ass gobshite who are messaging me on social media non-stop. Fight every 6 months, fight every 6 months. I have 2 fights a year, that's every 6 months. I fucking know what 2 fights a year is, and I know how often 6 months comes around. But I'm telling you, I didn't used to want to fight like that, and fighters should fight more often. Fighters in championship fights don't have to fight every 6 months. Canelo Alvarez is a perfect example of that. They also missed that part off the bit that they snapped up. So brilliant fighters and top fighters should be fighting 3 times a year minimum, in my opinion. There is what, 52 weeks in a year. Most fighters do 12 weeks in camp. That times 3 is 36. Have 2 weeks off after each fight and go again. That leads to 42, if I'm correct, with the breaks in the camp. My maths is really good, thankfully for me. But 42 weeks a year, do whatever you want with the other 10 weeks. I don't care, but fighters need to fight more often. 2 fights a year is not good enough for anyone, in my opinion. And I don't care how big you are or what kind of things you want to make out now. I don't really give a shit, just look at it. And actually, thinking back before that title fight, Cougs, I fought in December against Masternak, May against Makabu, October against, was it November against BJ Flores, and then Hay in the March. So 4 fights, and I don't know the fucking time scale now, it doesn't matter, take your fucking mic back.
Okay, so what we got from that is still 2 fights in a calendar year, yeah?
Wasn't an arsehole. In a calendar year.
In a calendar year, you just listed 1 fight from December, which counts as that year, 2 in the following year, and 1 after that in March.
No, a calendar 12 months would be December, May, October. It's 3 fights, you dumb shit, because it didn't go October to October, so you punchy bastard. Who took the punch to your Cougs, me or you? Get that big
Okay.
I used to try and fight as often as I possibly could. All fighters should be the same. There is no need to fight every 6 months. It's just not good for a fighter's career. I just don't believe that. So Whatever, yeah, it doesn't matter. Bellew's chatting shit again, but who cares?
Okay, final one before I let you get on with the rest of your car journey, even though we're stuck here for another hour. What have you made of a potential situation that we're going to see Conor Benn and Chris-Eubank fighting the UAE on June the 3rd?
Is this being confirmed yet?
Hasn't been confirmed,
Why
but
are we talking about something that hasn't been confirmed? Is that Buckingham Palace? No, can't be. Yeah. So are they fighting, are they? Have you been speaking to Longlegs?
there is strong suggestion that that fight will take place.
June the 3rd?
Yep.
Saudi Arabia? Or Abu Dhabi?
Abu Dhabi.
Oh, okay, June the 3rd. Where am I going to be? June the 3rd, there's my phone. Okay, well, that's a big fight. I mean, regardless of what everyone thinks, it's an absolute monster of a fight. Oh yeah, okay, I haven't got that in my diary. It's huge. It's huge. I'm with them craziness. Excuse me, sorry. With the craziness that's gone on, I'm not gonna lie, it's just made it even bigger because now it is really personal. Like I'm pretty sure you won't probably get a good face off this time between them two. You'll probably get blows thrown at the first face off because this has just got really personal. But the stuff that has come out and the stuff that people are telling me, bloody blackmail and things like that. I was pretty stern with how people know how I look at drug cheats and stuff like that. They should all be banned for life. Anyone failing drug tests for performance enhancing drugs should be banned for life. And I'll stand by it to this day. Do I believe Conor Benn was taking performance enhancing drugs? Absolutely not, no. Why do I think that? Because he's got tests either side of them failed ones to show that there's no rise in his levels or whatever, but I don't know, Cougs. I'm not the best. What I do know is who the fuck takes fertility drugs, because the last I knew, Junior was a movie and it never really happened, and men can't have babies. So, but I don't know about the tangibles of what this does or what that does. I haven't got a fucking clue, to be honest. But I'll tell you something now, the only way you're going to get rid of performance enhancing drug cheats, and they've had two opportunities, the boxing board, to make a stern example. One was with Larry Benlew and the other one was with Jarrell Miller. Boxing boards, commissions, governing bodies, they had a job to do with them two fighters alone, and the job that they should have done at that stage was just ban the both of them for life. And I'm telling you, this stops. This stops. I don't know everything that's in Conor's document, but I'm telling you now, mate, I'd bet my ass, my whole existence on that kid not taking drugs. And people go, oh, why? Because he's your mate? No, it's just because you know someone. I've known the kid since he first come over here, to be honest. But yeah, it's just not in their nature. It's just not their way, you know what I mean? But I don't know. Some people will say, oh, Bellew's saying that because of how he finds him and stuff like that. No, I just think cheats are from a certain kind of place, a certain gym, and I don't know. There's so many tangibles that need taken into account, but I don't think for a minute that the kid's cheated, no.
What do you think about the board?
The event,
No, but that wasn't going to be my question. My question was going to be, what do you think about the board reportedly contacting commissions wherever applicable in order to try and not...
Court. What do I think of the board?
Well, look, the board apparently or reportedly are speaking to commissions in order for this fight not to take place. Obviously, bearing in mind Chris-Eubank is licensed by the board. Conor Benn is not, but Chris-Eubank would have to seek permission from the board.
That walked in my dressing room and put me under financial duress and made me sign a cheque for £10,000 before I could walk to a ring and have a fight. So yeah, that's the same board. The same board that don't look after fighters the way they should. The same board that just don't. We pay the board, we create the board. Without the money that I generated as a fighter to get the board, there would not be no board. And the people who they care about last is the fighters, which is sad. They should be more bothered about making sure every fighter gets paid, making sure fighters don't get ripped off. They should be willing to sanction the correct people at the correct times and look after fighters, protect them. But I just don't feel they do. And then now, the situation with Conor, I haven't got a clue, Cougs. I have not got a clue. I don't think they've got any... what's the word I'm looking for? They've got no place delegating to other boards what they think they should do because of what they're doing. I don't know. So I haven't got a clue, mate. I don't know. It's not really my place, Cougs, to be honest.
Okay. Well, listen, I appreciate your time in this car. And
what we just spoke over for the last 10 minutes, but and I'll probably make for a shit interview, but I'm sure some tithead will click on it and watch it and then have me to answer to the questions I've said. But ask me something decent, Cougs. I don't think there's been anything relevant there at all. Everything that anyone would want to listen to that we don't already know.
Let's ask someone neutral. What did you think of that interview?
10 out of 10. Perfect, absolutely perfect.
There's some gems in there, aren't
A
there?
couple of legal letters in the post and all that good stuff, but nothing he's not had before, do you know? So it should be fine. It should be okay.
Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? I didn't even know why people would watch, to be honest, but they obviously do watch for some unbeknown reason to me. Ask us a proper question, Cougs. Ask us about a fight and who you think wins or how they win or... You know what I've seen today? Oh, I'm having my breakfast. I seen Devin Haney and Lomachenko square up and face off.
Yeah.
It's a big size difference there.
Massive size difference.
He is a big boy, that Devin Haney. And the only thing that beats Lomachenko, like I've said before, is size. But he's just gone up to him in too many weights. I think that's probably the only reason he lost.
Good fight. Who do you think wins out of Tank Ryan?
I can't look back to Gervonta Davis. Do you not think he's not going to land? And the boy's just a brutal finisher. He's going to land. Ryan Garcia is lightning fast, believe you me, he is rapid, but he is going to get tagged.
How many pay-per-views do you think it does? I was speaking to someone the other day and I was saying Jake Paul, Tommy Fury did 750,000 pay-per-view buys. Do you think Tank Ryan does that?
No.
You don't think he does that?
No. Purely because the profiles aren't big enough.
What?
Well, okay, well you'll go off what? Instagram? And social media.
Yeah.
Anyone who's on Instagram and social media, they have access to things that they shouldn't have access to, and they get to watch the fight in ways they shouldn't be watching.
Good shot. But you would have said the same thing about Jake Paul's fans, wouldn't you?
No, because that crossed over because of the name Fury.
Oh, okay.
That crossed over to the TV. That crossed over to the general person in the street talking. Who generally in the street knows Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia?
Over here, nobody.
Are they better? See, I don't know
in
now.
America, I think a lot.
Because I love Gervonta Davis. I mean,
Like, Tank sells out.
I think he's a monster.
Sells out. When he does his thing in Atlanta, he sells out.
I think he is the biggest punching fighter in the lighter division since Nassim Hamed. I have not seen a fighter with that kind of power since Hamed. That boy takes people out and he's a killer. See, these are the things I like to talk about. And Garcia is lightning quick, but I'm not sure his IQ is the best. I'm not sure his actual boxing brain is as good as it should be. Like, when you've got that kind of speed, you do not need to engage with anyone. Like, you don't need to get hit. He is that quick.
What is it? A bit Amir Khan? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
In terms of IQ.
if you ever look at someone and want to see, okay, the perfect performance from a fighter with speed, and look at how to use it, watch the fight between Amir Khan and Andreas Kotelnik, because Kotelnik is a brilliantly schooled amateur with quality pedigree, but he couldn't lay a glove on Amir, and the reason for that is because Amir used the speed to negate and dictate the angles and the distance between the two of them, and you just can't get close. When Amir is able to do that, and like I say, it's one of the most perfect displays I've seen in the boxing ring. Another one is Floyd Mayweather against Arturo Gatti, but that's a different ball game. But for someone like Amir, it's just, I think that was literally the best display of his career. That one, or maybe
Louis Collazo.
yeah, it was a brilliant the way he touched him with the body shots that he got him with. That was a good one. I think the Devin Alexander was a brilliant victory. Amir is very underrated. Was a brilliant fighter. Won everything in the pros with an amateur style. Didn't need to change style. The only fighter I've seen ever do that before was Richie Woodall. Stayed to his, stuck to his game, stuck to his plans, which was an amateur based around it, and just good feet, long straight shots, in and out. Them two fighters, they're proving you can do it with an amateur style.
A little bit of a boxing trivia question here. When Amir Khan fought Devon Alexander, who won a world title on the same night?
I'm trying to think who.
In the same fight card?
Nope.
Same fight, or just on the same, anywhere around the world, same.
Somebody quite notable to us won a world title.
David Hay, Bellew.
Notable to us, Carl Frampton. No, he's well before.
Same country, different card.
In America?
I can only think of same country.
Oh, wait a minute. Carl Froch. Wow, this is a good trivia one, isn't it? Same country.
Your class of Scotland's the same.
I'm classing UK and surrounding.
Ricky Burns.
Oh, UK and surrounding. Then it's going to be...
Immediately surrounding.
That's going to be Irish then, isn't it? Katie? No, Katie wasn't fighting around there, was it
Andy
then?
Lee.
Andy Lee beat Matt Korobov on the same night.
Go on, Kugan. That's a good one, Cougs.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Wasn't on the same bill though, was it? No,
No, it wasn't on the same bill. There were
Top rank boy.
two different bills, but they were on the same night. Khan fought Alexander, yeah.
Kobrov was an outstanding amateur talent.
Kobrov was incredible.
Kobrov was brilliant, yes. Because the year Chunky won the Olympics in Beijing 2008, Kobrov was the main man for it. And the guy, if I'm right in it, I think it was a Russian who beat, or it was Kobrov. Is Kobrov Russian or Ukrainian?
Russian.
Russian.
Kobrov bashed up Usyk
Yes.
as an amateur. Like, bashed him up.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for your time. Tony, enjoy your weekend here in London. Have you got anything else you'd like to add before we finish?
Yeah, hopefully Everton do them Tottenham clowns on Monday night. Oh, please. So yeah, that's about it really, Cougs. And wishing Josh the best of luck. And please, whoever's listening and watching me up top, get me back to this stupid game called golf, please. I'm begging, I'm praying. Just give me something.
Addy, best of luck to your team tomorrow as well. I'll be a Liverpool fan for a good 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, we'll do them, Etihad. No Haaland, I've been hearing. No Haaland, no Foden. If we can't do them without Haaland and Foden, then that's it, then, innit? We're rubbish.
But who are you going to bring on? What I'm saying? Who's going to play then? Grealish?
Probably Grealish. Well, we'll handle Grealish.
Who else is going to come on?
Can I give my AJ prediction?
Yeah, you can do it in literally. We've got 30 seconds to run. Addy, just.
Oh, perfect. 30 seconds. AJ gets rid of him. 5. 5.
I'm going for the
Stops viciously.
I'm going for the first 3.
First 3.
Right, before I smash this camera up, Addy, Tony Bellew, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day here in London. We're out.
Refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,